Good evening everyone. This is another quick video about the progress of AmiCube v1.1 development. So at this time I have two dynamic RAM chips added to the design, to the motherboard. Here we're looking at SDRAM, that's 32 megabits times 16, which is 512 megabits per chip, effectively increasing the RAM of the board to 1 megabit, which is 128 megabytes in total, and plus these 6 megabytes here in static RAM configuration. So the good news is that AGA Core will work just fine with these 6 megabytes, no problem with the static RAM. But just for the convenience, I'm adding this memory as well that will be used in the AGA Core. And I think in terms of the size, 128 megabytes is quite sufficient for AGA Amiga retro computer for what this system is aiming to be. Perhaps if I was looking to build something that's PowerPC based or some sort of next generation Amiga, perhaps like a Vampire or such projects, maybe I would go for more RAM on the board, but I think this is more than enough for a retro system which I'm trying to recreate here. So the choice was made with a couple of reasons. Mostly the reason that interests me the most is the fact that I have an understanding of how the module is working for SDRAM. So this is a slightly different implementation. This is, as I mentioned, dynamic RAM, and what I was dealing with before was static RAM. So that RAM bridge is different, and once you replace the part, you really need to kind of change your design in the Verilog to connect everything and make sure that there is a controller that's actually dealing with the RAM, with the specifics of the part. So with these parts, I know what to do. This is familiar, and routing was fairly simple since it's only 2 parts. I think I did a pretty fair job, and that's that. The parts are connected. Now it's time to dig into software side of things. So that's one good news. We have enough RAM now for pretty good functionality in the Amiga. You won't need any special, accelerator boards or anything. Perhaps entire AGA, the library of games and software and different titles will be available using this. If I'm not mistaken, maybe with a few exceptions, but I think it covers mostly everything. So that's one thing. The second thing, and I'm going to show you this, and you're probably going to ask me, what the hell is this and why are you showing this on your channel? What is supposed to be anyhow? But this is a big deal. This is actually AGA working on AmiCube, and I mean, working is a stretch because obviously there is a few more things to do. Seems like software side of things is not able to still initialize the AGA registers in the design, but this is actually Amiga Test Kit. This is how it looks like when it loads. So we are one step away from having AGA Core up and running, and I'm hoping this week I'll have something to demonstrate. Worst case scenario next week, but it's getting there really. So it's all good news, and honestly it's more complicated than I initially thought, because when you hear that what people are usually saying, it's just a Verilog, you port the Verilog code and that's fine. The FPGA is just an FPGA. That couldn't be further from reality, because each part has its own specifics in terms of timing, how it handles clock buffers, how it handles different blocks of the internal design, different banks, I want to say. If you change type of the RAM, then it's a big rewrite, and now we're dealing with nanoseconds. The timing and design has the design of the part has a significant impact on the design of the Verilog, which really depends on your proficiency, how good you are in firmware development, and especially in RTL and Verilog development. But it's definitely not easy. However, I think, as I mentioned, next week we'll have something. What now? Now, since the RAM is there, usually I don't spin up the boards with many different modifications at the same time. But this time I simply must, because it's time to replace this VGA and PS2. So I'm going to work on the, of course, HDMI for the video, and also here we'll have a nice connector for USB. So keyboard, mouse will use USB, as well as joysticks. Joystick will also be routed to the DB9s, because that's what we need to do. But this is going to happen right now, so I'm going to work on that, and hopefully first releases of AmiCube will have 6 megs, hopefully of cheap RAM. So if we use this as a cheap RAM, that would be cool. Then AGA Core inside of the FPGA, of course. Additional 128 megabytes of dynamic RAM. This is single rate. And of course, floppy drives, 2 floppy drives, DF0 and DF1, with the beautiful LEDs indicating the functionality. And I think that will be it for 1.1 version, because there is plenty of things there. Just changing the USBs, changing PS2 to USBs will be quite a challenge. I mean, for me. For some of you guys out there, I'm sure it will be easy, but in reality, it takes time to kind of design the schematics, do the firmware, test everything. I think, from my experience, testing is something that takes almost as much as time, if not even more time, than just pure coding and development and routing and whatnot. So again, USB most crucially, hopefully 4 ports here, and here we'll replace this VGA with HDMI. HDMI implementation will go directly from FPGA. So we'll do some cool things there. Hopefully I'll be able to enable scaling, so you can slightly scale your picture on the Amiga monitor, so you can have certain games in full screen mode. If you know, some games on the Amiga are really not sitting and using entire screens. So by scaling, we'll choose some buttons for scaling. We'll be able to kind of zoom in and have a pretty cool effects if you choose to do so. So that's all happening. So we are fighting here on the multiple fronts. Adding more RAM, finishing AGA, adding proper I/O. And I think once it's done, this is going to be a formidable retro computer, formidable Amiga computer, and I made it as if I'm making it for myself. So I know I will enjoy using this. I'll spend many hopefully hours playing with this, and hopefully other people will appreciate as well the design and improvements here. I think at the end of the day we'll be far away from Mini-Mig and just the basic, old FPGA attached to 68,000. This is going to be a significant step forward. And that's all I have to share for tonight. I will probably stay late working on these improvements today, and tomorrow, once I'm done with office work as well, and day after day, I'm hoping within a few weeks we'll see this close to being done. If you can subscribe, because it does make a difference, like, and maybe make some comment if you have something to ask, something to say. I'm trying to answer all your questions on the channel. I think we have a fantastic community, and I'm always happy to see people commenting and having ideas and suggestions and so forth. Of course, just as a side note, keep in mind that there's many good suggestions, but in reality, kind of implementing something and making it reality requires the bandwidth and time testing, as I mentioned. So I'm trying to kind of take the approach which is kind of jives with the reality in terms of possibilities, where my possibilities are, where my abilities are. But I think this is a journey, and we won't stop at the version 1.1. The saga continues, as well as design of the next generation boards for multi-core purpose. This is going to be Amiga, and multi-core design that's completely modular is coming as well. So again, stay tuned. Exciting things are coming. And again, thanks for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.